Hey, all you holistic hipsters out there, it's that time. So grab your chalice of choice and sit back and sip along with us. We would love to welcome you to the Tea Podcast, where we spill the tea on all things holistic in the pet grooming industry. Let me introduce you to our hostesses with the mostesses.
She is the socialite of skin and coat care, Ms. Michelle Knowles.
And the queen bee of all things oily, Ms. Melissa Conti-Diener. Brought to you by theoilygroomer.com. Are you searching for a new and more mindful way of grooming? Interested in understanding how to grow your grooming business with a more holistic and organic approach? Please contact Melissa Conti-Diener at theoilygroomer.com so that you can set up a meeting and bring balance and prosperity to your life. And allthingspaw.com. Intermediate and advanced courses in pet esthetician work, fear recovery, animal handling, and more. Get your learn on with All Things Paw. Also, classes with Melissa, online and self-guided, intuitive energy work, transitional therapy, and compassionate touchpoint therapy, and more. And the Herbal Paw Pet Apothecary, tailored for the individual pet, phone consultations, history gathering, and the home of the Herbal First Aid Kit.
Now, let's get this tea party started.
Yay!
Hey, good morning.
It's Monday!
Yeah.
And we're live, coming to you from what? Mesa and Peoria, Arizona.
Peoria. Yeah. And I have a special guest. It's Buster. Say hi, Buster. He's here for a sleepover. His parents are in Florida.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, don't mind the whining from below.
Oh, yeah.
The snacks are done and she doesn't believe me.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
We're barking from my end. I'm sure they'll bark. We have some work being done here at the house, so there's stranger danger going on.
Oh my gosh.
Look, Buster looks like
this one had a really bad nightmare last night. It was like really weird.
About
he was making the little nightmare noises and and then she woke up and she was keening and sad and shaky, and I'm like, oh my gosh, something really bad happened in her dreams.
Yeah.
I had to scritch her and comfort her, and finally she settled back down. I was like, oh my gosh. I never thought they could have nightmares like that, but evidently she can.
Something was getting her, I'm sure. Her little cuteness. She's so cute.
She's so rotten.
Yeah, that's what makes me cute.
Get out of here, kid. Go on. No. Go on.
Yeah, Buster was like, I want to be a guest on the podcast.
No, he's so sweet.
Little Buster Brown. He's a Yorkie Shih Tzu.
He's cute, of course.
He's a Yorkie.
All up in your house.
Yeah. Well, he is actually a former puppy of ours.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is. And his brother Coda Bear is here, but Coda's on guard with the people doing the work out in my yard. So he's got to make sure that. And Coda's a full bred Shih Tzu. So, he is on high alert. Buster was like, oh, are you on TV? I'll be on TV, huh?
He's awful sweet.
He is a good boy. What's in your cup this morning?
I am back to basics.
Are you?
Cucumber cold tea.
Oh, yeah. You were saying that you were.
I would have put lemon in there, but I didn't have a lemon. So.
Oh. You don't have any citrus growing, huh?
Yeah, I do have a lemon tree, but it's still real tiny. So I get like 2 or 3 lemons a year right now because it's little. It's still a baby.
It's a baby.
Yeah. I just didn't have any. I didn't run to the farmer's market last weekend, so I don't have any lemons.
I have
What do you got going on over there?
I have a cool, it's actually in my regular cup, my Wake Up, Be Awesome repeat cup.
Love it. Love it.
It's the hibiscus rose this time. You know, I like a rose.
Yeah, that's one of your favorites. Yeah.
So
I found a new tea place.
Oh, you did?
Not local, but like online, and they make those pressed little tea cakes.
Oh yeah.
That you soak. I thought about getting us some and trying them out because
Oh,
he's of my school of thought. He's like, you see that? How it comes apart? It's all flaky and muddy. Those are bad. Those are just dust.
Right.
I have the real ones. I'm like, okay, show me the real ones then.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get us some of those.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are I can't remember the name of it, but don't you love when you look at a dog and it's not your dog and you're like, hey, he's got a knot on the end of his ear here.
I feel that so hard.
Your brain just automatically goes to what
yeah.
He'll be groomed. Buster will be groomed. So this is just his lazy.
Oh, he seems so sweet.
He is. He's such a good boy. So, but yeah, I love a floral tea. You know, I really do. I really enjoy especially rose. I love the smell of rose also. Which I
like the smell of it if it's real.
Yeah.
If it's trying to be a fake rose, I can smell the plastic. Like
chemically,
yeah, I can smell it. It's so gross.
No. So that's my tea of choice today. Yeah. And it's actually cool. It's not really hot, and even though it's in the mug. We're gonna get up to 100 soon.
I know. I can't wait to get in the pool.
I know.
Every moment of every minute, I'm just going out there and putting my toe in it. Not yet.
I can't get in our pool yet until the 20th. Well, until after the 20th. They're coming to do some repairs on our pool. So
are you filling it again?
Yep. Yep.
You're gonna do it.
We're doing it. We're filling it. I'm getting.
I mean, technically, it was empty when he got hurt. So
yeah, it was. If you don't know the story, my husband had an accident. We were going to do the repairs ourselves because we're such great DIYers. And so we were draining the pool, and my husband reached in down at the deep end to pull the pump out from draining, and lost his balance and fell in the pool and broke his leg and foot.
It was serious.
It was really serious. 2 surgeries later, like almost a year, apart. It was just a whole long, arduous thing. And so he is fully healed, and we are having the professionals come out now to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So, but we will have a pool this year, which I have missed greatly because it's so nice to just go out and just be
I think it's for my health. I just can't. Now that I've had one and at this property, I don't think I'll ever want to be without one if I can help it.
Yeah.
That's
how I
really
feel.
nice to just come home, peel off, and be like, I'm getting in the pool.
So I actually have to this week go pick the tile that I want on the inside, like new tile, because our tile it's old.
Yeah.
So it just has some chips and everything. So yeah, we're getting a little refresher back there.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you, Uncle. No, you're not being not nice, Buster. No fair. No, sorry.
What happened?
What did you do?
Oh, I see. Resource guarding you.
Yeah, resource guarding me. Come here. You can come here. If you come here, I'll put you on my lap.
She's like, nah, no way, not after that.
Buster was not being nice. He had to go sit in the naughty boy chair for a minute.
He doesn't look like he's.
Look at his little sad face back there. He's like, it happens,
I know, because you got 18 million dogs over there.
I do. But it's okay. There's enough for me. You're all right, Buster. You got to be nice. Hi, Noni. It just is what it is, big guy.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go bite the workman.
I know. Well, it wasn't even a bite. It was just a
growl.
A snarl and a don't come up here. I want her to myself.
Yeah.
But got to be nice and share. So
Well, who doesn't want to be in the lap? Who?
yeah, always. And so,
All
so
right.
what's our topic today?
So we are talking about what's changed between when we first started a million years ago in the pioneer days and what's
Yes.
better today, or what's just different. So basically, I guess I wanted to talk about what it used to be like.
Yeah.
In the desert of grooming that our past is.
Well, and I don't even really think, I don't ever refer to it as the good old days in grooming.
Right. It was hard.
Yeah.
And there were very little opportunities and very little tools and equipment. I certainly didn't know all the things I know now.
Right.
So I mean, a lot has changed.
Including us.
In 3 decades. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That makes a difference as you go through just evolving with the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
Kate and I were talking about that a little bit the other night when we were at dinner, was that it's just the education portion has just exploded.
Oh, it's insane. And I love it.
Yep.
I love it. I'm glad
and
that
thankfully to COVID.
Yeah, kind of. But
Right.
even before COVID, I mean, it was much better than it ever was. But it was kind of limited to the shows, and not really as online. But COVID drove everybody online, and man, the opportunities to learn more and improve your grooming and your technique has just exploded online, and so many opportunities to not only learn but to teach as well.
Yeah.
So I think that COVID actually did our industry a favor.
Yeah.
in a weird way.
Weird way, right. I think that, just the fact that the pandemic kind of, even though it was a terrible thing that people had to suffer with that, it really molded and shaped a lot of different industries. And it opened up a lot of avenues, a lot of ways that just for us as groomers, we had to get really creative.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think it made everybody aware of their cleaning processes as well.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because man, that has improved greatly, And I think there is always going to be a spectrum of people who maybe don't clean as much as they should, to those people who are OCD. Angie Coates.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely you, but Angie Coates.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. I love her dearly. She is wow. I would eat off her floor. I'm sorry. I would.
Make sure that
freaking clean.
Yes. Oh, that's how you avoid any problems.
Absolutely. And who wants to be in a stinky place? It's always been my philosophy that if you spend the majority of your day at work, you spend the majority of your life at work, why would you want to be in some stinky place when you have every opportunity to clean? Especially, even if it's just your area, And I know the people that I work with are like, oh my God, yeah, Michelle. Yeah. Your area.
The people I work with already know that they're always like, oh, the students just graduated. So I have a little break, and I will wind up moving everything all over and cleaning everything and doing a whole big, do a purge and get rid of things that don't just suit purposes anymore.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do that myself. All that crap I've been carrying around, I've given half of it away.
Right.
But it's time to give another half away or throw half of it away. I'm done. I'm done. Get it out of there. I need a comb, a clipper, and a brush. That's it.
Well, even just looking at things like, I just think in general, most groomers have a tendency towards hoarding. Oh, yeah. So, look at your equipment, look at your stuff, look at your combs. If the teeth on your combs are all, snaggletooth.
I call them Halloween teeth combs.
Yeah. Then toss them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're always like, oh, well, I could use the end of this, or I use the mat.
Your hand gets so used to the weight of a piece of a tool or a piece of equipment that it's hard to give them away. Even if there's like 2 teeth, They're like, well, I'll use it on the face.
Yeah.
But your hand is so used to gripping it. I remember back in the day, all we had was the Oster A5s.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they say everything. Oh, it's an A5 blade or whatever, because that was the original, as far as I'm concerned. That's all
And
we
it
ever used.
sounded like a
And I
lawnmower.
remember when Andis came out with the 2-speed, and I got one, and everybody was like, "Oh, highfalutin! No,
Yeah.
fancy! It's so quiet." I know, it's true. It's so funny. But yeah, all we had was that. And I'm left-handed, so it blew hair right in my face. It was so loud and it was so heavy. And my hand hurt even like forever. It's just hurt for forever, especially when I use those. Those Andis ones, though, that have the real close body are like 9 ounces. Even with a cord, they're lighter.
Right.
And they just saved my hand for all those years. I've always used Andis. I've tried a couple of others. They're just not the same.
Yeah.
I like the weight. And like I said, you really get used to holding a piece of equipment. You have muscle memory. I can still twirl them around without even thinking about it and, move them around.
Move them the way you need them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm at somebody else's station and I need to, use one of their clippers or whatever, just for a minute, I'm like, this is terrible. Yeah. But I mean, tools are so individualized and personalized. Every hand is shaped different. Every set of scissors, every clipper, every comb is going to fit differently in each person's hand, which is why everybody asks all the time, well, what clippers do you use? What combs do you use? I'm like, it doesn't matter. You need to go somewhere so you can hold them in your hand.
That's a big part of change, is that's one thing that has gone from, just simple functionality to almost like customized functionality. These ergonomic shapes, and now they have those rubberized grips that you can put on. Even some of the newer clippers come with that rubberized grip to help so you can hold it in your hand. And then Wall really came out with the Bravura. And then that was a game changer for a lot of groomers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and
I use the Bravura as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I still groom right now. I actually am using the Schirnbau, which is, looks very, very similar to I think it's a Kenchi Flash 5. So it's it's a trimmer, and it has the 5-in-1 blade on there, but very similar to that. Just a little bit lower on the price point. And, but it's super functional and it's not heavy and it's easy. And the only reason I'm not using the Bravura right now is because my last one had to be a good 8 years old. No longer holds its charge, and I haven't ordered another one yet. But, I mean, I groom primarily with the trimmer and use the clipper only for heavy work.
Fair.
So
yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, absolutely. I know that Erin just got a set of, what is it, Joyzies?
Yeah, well, some of my students
loves them, and they're super lightweight. But I've not had the chance to actually groom with them.
I've used several of the different ones that they have out. I think Erin got the Piranha.
I don't know.
They all have
they have
really cool names too.
That's cute.
But very interesting. I noticed that companies like Joyzy they're not A5 blades. You have to
Isn't it like the Kenchi trimmer as well? It has blades that just fit it. That Kenchi trimmer looks so sexy.
Yes,
it really does. And I was surprised to learn that it does come with like a 7 blade and whatnot,
Right.
It has different, it's not just the adjustable 5 that we're used to. I just don't care for it simply because, again, my hand has such muscle memory that it's hard for me to switch over at this late date. But I recommend everybody just putting each of those models in your hand and seeing how your hand feels with it. But yeah, I love that the Kenchi has thought of expanding the blades that are available to fit on that little trimmer, because a lot of people don't need a heavy trimmer anymore. The tiny trimmers are actually powerful enough to groom with now.
Yeah.
So
And I think that those companies are taking note of that at this
Right.
point. I really do.
Mhm.
I just can't. I mean, I have an Andis Pulse. I
Mhm.
have first generation one. So the first,
Mhm.
when they first came out with it, and I love it. And I mean, it's got to be 10 years old, but
Sure.
it's still fully functional. It holds its charge, all that, but it's heavy for my hands.
Mhm.
So, because like I have the arthritis fingers, you know, my
Mhm.
fingers turn the opposite way and they're
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
super bent. Seriously, they're
Bow leg
terrible.
fingers.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
so for me to have like a good grip on things, and I have both hands have trigger thumbs. So my hands get stuck. So, I can't do a lot of my days of heavy scissoring are gone, you know,
Oh
like
yeah. Yeah. I'm done.
just
Yeah.
doing all that right. I can't do all that anymore. So a lightweight trimmer works great for me with a clip comb on it, or those what I call extended size blade for, you know,
Mhm.
it's not a 5-in-1, it might be the 7 or whatever. Um, and those work great for me. And my clientele is such that I don't really work anymore. I don't really work on matted dogs. My
Right.
clientele have to be on a good schedule. And even in the school, you know, we'll bust out the the Andis 2 speeds for those
Right.
matted pets that we get in. So as far as functionality and options, I think that has been something that has changed for the much better.
Absolutely. Tools and the technology behind the tools, the equipment has come so far.
Yeah.
So far. All
Yeah.
those weird box dryers that just blew, at the temperature of the sun
Yep.
when we first started. One speed, temperature of the sun.
Son, yes, exactly. And get so hot that they used to burn your hand
Yeah,
holding them.
you couldn't even hold them,
Hold
which
them.
brings
Yeah.
me to the little gripper gun that attaches to hoses
Yeah.
now. That just
Those were
recently came out, and I'm like,
amazing.
oh man, where were you a million years ago?
Well, and that's the thing is like companies like Vanity Fur
Mhm,
have that handle thing as well.
mhm,
And the things like the Chris Christensen brushes, which are just all the rave. And I have one in every size and
mhm,
I absolutely love them. It's a great innovation.
mhm.
But companies like Vanity Fur actually made a cover. Shut those noisemakers out. How dare the landscapers ring the doorbell? They actually created a cover to put those brushes, and there's tons of knockoffs too, because some
Mhm.
of my students have the knockoffs, or and they still fit. They are the same dimensions and everything, and it's amazing that they actually work like that. You know, that they
Mhm.
will stop the tines from getting all bent in, and they'll stop them from, you know, when you look at your slicker brushes, and the teeth, the tines are all like this, and they're no
Mhm.
longer getting down to, you
Mhm.
know, that undercoat. So they created these, and they make this stuff. It's so cool. They make it with a 3D printer, and that's how they created it. So as technology changes for manufacturing,
Mhm.
we get so many
You get a better tool.
yeah, we get so
Yeah.
much innovation. uh that was like a game changer for me as a traveling groomer, you know.
Mhm.
When I was a house call groomer, I would
Mhm.
have to pack away all my brushes, and everything would get squished in the bag, and, you know, things would get ruined. And
Mhm. I saw you have those awesome covers for your brushes too. I think those are neat.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Those
Yeah.
are the ones I got from Vanity Fur. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes, they have several products now, don't they?
Yeah, they have quite
Yeah.
a bit. They have these things that go little like Lazy Susan storage things that you can put
Mhm.
all your stuff in. They have a lot of really unique items. And I got to talk to them at one of the shows, and it's a husband and wife team.
Mhm.
She's a groomer. He's not. He's just the kind of the brains behind the um, 3D printing stuff, you
Mhm.
know. Hey, if you're going to be in here, you have to be quiet. Yeah, you too. sorry. It's Buster. He's back.
That's Melissa's life. So
Yeah, oh, forever. Forever.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. I love
Fair.
it. So,
Mhm.
yes. I'm surprised the puppies aren't all screaming. They're 5 weeks. One litter's 5 weeks. One litter's 7 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. Buster. Shh. I know. Stranger danger.
Who is that, Tess? Who is that?
It's Buster. He's on high alert. All right. I'm going to put you out there. I'm going to put you out of my office, bud. Come here. You can go out there and bark. Go ahead.
He's like, wait a minute.
You go out there and bark.
Wait a minute.
I think my dad just stopped by to help with some stuff. So that'll keep them busy out there.
Sure.
No, I think there's been quite a bit of innovation, especially over the past like 3 years. It's been an explosion of amazing tools that we have. We had such a small amount of things to choose from at one point, and now there's
as far as like shampoo products and things like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
There used to only be remoisturizer, like that was it.
Remo, everything.
Yeah, and you were lucky to get that. And then they came along with that horrible hot oil treatment.
Yeah,
that was hideous. It was just oil dumped on the dog.
Just weighed the coat down to nothing.
Oh, and the coal tar.
Oh,
holy bejesus. Yeah, for skin issues. And it was just medicated. And then everybody got, if it had a pimple or a red spot, everybody got coal tar. How we have grown.
Yeah. I have to say that there is, like, people always ask, what's your favorite shampoo? What shampoo do you use? What do you use? I use so many different ones. Like it just depends on what I'm a fan. I love show season. They have some products I really, really enjoy. I think that for the coats that I work with, which are primarily drop coats, they have some great products. I am a die-hard Chris Christensen Silk Spirits. I love that just that little bit of that silk protein, you just a teensy drop of it will take.
It's super expensive.
Yep, but you only use
ingredient.
Right. You only use so small amount of it. To me, it's so worth it for a beautiful groom. There's just so many different products on top of the fact that we now can actually create our own stuff.
True. Back in the day, you didn't really have a lot of access to raw materials and raw clays and things like that we do now. The cosmetic industry itself has recognized that there is a market to the regular person to make their own beauty products and things like that. And I think there is a huge push in the direction of going back to herbal remedies, going back to essential oils, using plants and herbs and very gentle surfactants and things like that a lot of people are interested in, not only in that type of grooming for their own personal dog, but the industry itself is wanting something that's not highly synthetic, not highly scented. A lot of things are going back to basics, which I really love, because when people ask me what shampoo do you use, I say the one that works.
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
I love iGroom products, but they are so highly scented. I mean, and if you know me, I love smells. I love scented things. But so heavily scented. So you have to know when you're using products like that you have to be able to dilute them down. So if I can dilute them down and they still provide what I want it to provide, then I'm usually happy with that product. And it leaves a lighter scent behind. But
currently I'm really digging the Melanie Newman.
I love that.
I use Refresh and I use Soothe for cats or skins that are open. And then
that's also at the high end of the price point.
And I don't dilute. I use it pure right out of the bottle. But I do wet down my dogs thoroughly before I apply.
Right.
Water is the vehicle that takes the surfactant to the skin. So I only have to give one good bath. I use enough shampoo. But again, I've done it for so long, it's hard to convey that to someone who's just starting out or asking, well, how do you use that? How do you only
Right.
use a teaspoon of shampoo, on this whole dog? It just takes practice. You really have to practice. And if you're sudsing too much, if you're so sudsy, you're probably wasting product. You're probably wasting a lot of product. But yeah, I really like that they're not highly scented, because I think a clean dog will smell fine.
Right.
I don't need. My husband is blind, so scents really bother him. So we're one of those. We don't like a really strong smelling dog. But I like something that's gentle enough and baseline foundational enough that I could add my therapies to the raw materials, sulfur, chlorhexidine, whatever I need to use. And it becomes a medicated shampoo that way, rather than have 15 things laying around. I've got a basic set, and then I have additives.
Well, and just that we have access to those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
That we're able to actually purchase those things to boost the cleaning power and
that was unheard of even 10 years ago.
Really.
Well,
even just ingredients, listing ingredients. I can remember there was never any ingredients on the bottles of anything.
Maybe one or two manufacturers would put a short list of what they felt you needed to know.
So now so many more shampoo producers and product producers have stepped forward and said and listened to groomers that are like, hey, I want to know what's in this. Not only am I putting this on a dog, but it's on me. It's all over me some days. It's like
and we really have to shout out to Kirstine Reynolds.
Yes.
She has put in the work and the time. Not only Barbara Bird, who has been the just guru of ingredients themselves and training people to recognize what's in shampoos. Kirstine Reynolds' mission statement is to have everybody list ingredients so that everybody knows what's in them. She herself has had several allergic reactions and bad reactions to shampoos. So it's really important. Manufacturers are of the mind that, well, they just go on the dog. The dog only gets groomed 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
So it's not that much, but they don't realize that we actually have our hands in it every day, all day. So it should be regulated like a human cosmetic. Right. We do need to know what's in it so that if we are sensitive to an ingredient, that we can not use that brand. Yeah. So her whole mission in life is to do that. And she's assembled quite a list. And you can get a hold of that list by joining or getting a hold of her on Facebook at Shampoos in the Grooming Industry, I think is the group's name. But yeah, kudos to her. Shout out to her for that hard work, because that's not easy. She's really, really, that's really important to her. And I think it's important to the industry. She's done some
absolutely. And shout out to, of course, Barbara Bird, who is iconic. She was the first one to step up and to say, hey, I'm going to start compiling this information and really trying to get this out there so groomers can understand. Like we talked about the tar shampoos, and I know several groomers who have shared with me regarding cancer issues with them, for themselves from using known carcinogenic products for years and years. And then they wound up, linking it to their personal battle with cancer from utilizing these products. Right. So, and then I remember the old rule, white feet don't treat, with the tar shampoos. And so we had these weird little things that we just as groomers would be like, oh yeah, we know this affects these specific types of dogs. So the science is catching up with our industry, which is lovely.
I agree. I agree. I think that we're really fortunate to be able to see all the changes that have happened, since the 80s and on into the 2024. It's just been a wild ride.
Yeah.
Pushing forward, learning more and more. I think that a lot of people that learn, the more they learn, the more they know that they haven't been doing so great in the beginning. Everybody starts out that way.
Well, I
You
was
have
gonna
to
say,
start
that's
somewhere.
where
You
you
can't
gotta
just start grooming and know everything. It
No,
takes time to absorb all of this information. It's so much. It's so much.
it's a lot for us, and we've been
Yeah.
doing this for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can only imagine when my students graduate and here they are in an industry that they're trying to navigate all the products, all the tools, all the things. When we were first coming up, we had maybe two choices of.
You had, what was it? You had New England Serum.
Yeah.
And you had like maybe one or two other warehousing distributors.
Right, distributors. Yeah.
Stuff. That's it. Just maybe two or three places where you could get all your equipment, all your shampoo. And it was the same formula all the time, wasn't it? It was like your regular everyday shampoo, your white shampoo, your medicated shampoo, and your hypo.
Yep.
And no conditioner.
And then you had Remo. That was
right, moisturizer. Right.
That was like thicker than wallpaper paste.
And you watered it down till it was nothing. And I don't recall it ever doing anything.
No, it was
just wasn't adequate.
No, it was not an adequate
product.
Here
we are.
Yep. So yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
I remember, I think it was All Systems came out with the Brazilian Blowout.
Yes.
Products, the keratin-based products. And they had them for a while, and I loved them because, again, I work primarily on drop coats. And so that was a great kind of marriage with the human beauty industry. Women were getting these Brazilian blowouts to straighten their hair and get rid of the dead ends and all that frizziness, and then we were using products on our drop coated breeds that just gave us such a beautiful, silky, shiny coat. So I think the evolution of the industry has looked at starting to really take note of the human beauty industry and know that as groomers, we're actually dealing with a lot of the same kind of issues. Split ends and dry coat and all these different things are overly oily coats. And so they're trying to meet those needs and match that desire to be able to turn out a groom that looks professional. I think when we first started, it was, and we would hear this a lot, at least I would, oh, I'm not a show groomer.
All the time. Yeah.
Yep. I just do pets. I don't, it's, we just shave them down. We don't really do anything. Now, customers are like, this is what I want. And they show you a picture of a show dog.
Absolutely. Or they know how their dog feels when its coat is healthy. So they're not putting up with no crispy, brittle coat that doesn't have any conditioner. Like they can feel and know the difference.
Yeah.
We have a more educated and savvy clientele today than we ever did. Yeah. It wasn't until, we got here in 2004, 2005 that even ISB came in the country. Yeah. And that was like my first introduction to a commercial line that actually was a full-blown cosmetic line for dogs. And at that time I was mixing raw materials together and, mixing this and mixing that and trying to come up with these formulas that would help this dog skin. So I'd been doing that for quite a few years already. And then when ISB came in the country, I was just like, this is what I'm talking about. That I think was the impetus. I think once they came in the country and other manufacturers realized that we were getting results. Yeah. I think that's when everybody started stepping up their game. And even if they didn't get it right, like I won't name names, but some would put their shampoo at the shows at champagne glasses. Oh, this is spa. This is spa.
Right.
Well, that's the spa isn't fruity looking shampoo in a champagne glass. Spa addresses and nourishes the health of the skin and helps with eliminating toxins. And if you can't do that, if I don't believe it, I don't call it spa.
Right.
It could be a beauty treatment, I guess, but spa is a very specific and it is health oriented and not just something that smells good.
Right.
But I believe those are the first line that I was ever introduced to or ever found. That was a complete line that addressed every stage of good skincare. So
I think
now
that
a lot of lines are expanding.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Since they broke down that barrier, we have so many other companies coming in with their versions of things.
Oh yeah, we've got several choices of commercial muds and clays and different opportunities to use chlorhexidine instead of just a medicated.
Right.
It really times me that people think that medicated shampoo, medicated with what? What's the issue that it's treating? There's not just one medicated shampoo. It's a system. It's an order of operations. It's a whole technique. It's not just, slap this shampoo on and it'll make skin better. It's ridiculous that there are still factions who feel that way. And I'm very sad, and we're trying to educate them as much as possible. But yeah, I think that the products themselves and their formulations have really grown since before. I think some of those remedies and treatments are still available, but I can't say that they're popular because there's such a plethora of choices now.
Right.
If you're in a microclimate, you have a choice now of whether that shampoo matches with this conditioner, with your water, what kind of clientele you do. There are some people who don't do any skin work at all.
Right.
They see a pimple, they're like, oh no, you got to go somewhere else. And they only do healthy dogs and they're on a schedule, and that's fine. However you want to live your life and groom your dogs and build your clientele, that is appropriate. If you're not into skin, you shouldn't have to deal with it. There are plenty of us now that are available that love skin, and I could do skin cases all day. It wouldn't bother me a bit. That would be fantastic. And then when they're all well, you hand them over to somebody else for a nice, beautiful, intricate haircut.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Everybody is, and that has been a big evolution as well, is everyone is finding their niche and finding what, what their passion is within the industry. I think when we first started, it was more, this is what we do and this is how we do it. And we don't have a lot of choices, It
was a one-stop formula.
Right.
Wham, bam, thank you, man. Get the money next time.
Right. Yeah. And so when you go into looking now, you actually see groomers saying, I specialize in skin and coat, or I specialize in hard to handle or difficult to handle dogs.
Creative. Show dogs, drop coats, ancient fusion. Like there's just so many different ways of grooming now.
Yep. And even the bridging the gap, which has always been something that I've always felt needed to be done, and to also help us find some legitimacy in what we do, is bridging that gap between us as the pet groomer and the veterinarian. And so many veterinarians have taken on grooming into their practices as well. So they're getting a bird's eye view, well,
I think too, it took a while to come up with the different products and the different techniques and to really start following the science. So we start getting results that the veterinarians actually had to start becoming aware of it.
Right.
They had to see that it was different. At the beginning, we were just whatever, get in your room and wash dog butt. You know, that's what all you're good for. That's all you're here for. But now they see the value of marrying good skincare with their veterinary practice. And I think that's really awesome. I think that there are many dogs who would have their immune systems destroyed by being on steroids and antibiotics forever, who have now been clear and free because they now are on a good skincare routine that before we didn't even have. We didn't know, until we get educated. We don't know what's possible. And a lot of vets, especially the younger ones, are really embracing different modalities and are aware that there are other things besides strict Western medicine thinking that could be helpful in their practice. And then everybody can be the hero and the dog gets healed. The dog is well.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, I would always call myself a holistic groomer. I still refer to myself as a holistic groomer, but I find myself more and more saying that I'm more integrative, which means that I integrate a lot of different things. I mean, years ago when I first started learning about energy work and massage and applying those things to the animals, because my backstory is, working with humans first. And so as I started to do those things, I started to integrate that into my grooming practices. And it became more about wellness than it did about aesthetics. And while there's nothing wrong with the overall aesthetic of the animal, like the perfect haircut or the beautiful, color or whatever you're doing, my focus began to shift. And I think that we're seeing that a lot with a lot of groomers, is that they may have started out like this and now they're evolving into something else and they're becoming way more integrative. Like I teach the energy classes and I see so many people that are like, I want to know about this. And I feel like this is important and I want to have a connection. And so we're looking so much more at that animal as a whole being, and even if you don't want to, be an esthetician for pets, you still understand the need to have that pet see the right type of groomer. And like you said, the customers are getting far more savvy because they're seeking out these things for themselves as well.
Absolutely. Or they found services that make them feel good and they want that for their pet as well.
So I think that has changed greatly within the industry. Just a mere, I would say 10 years ago.
Right.
People are asking, what kind of shampoo, or they're asking questions. I've noticed a lot more of the customers are able to be educated, are looking to learn about their pet, looking to learn about the coat, the skin for their individual pet, whether they have a mixed breed or they have a purebred. And we know that, specific breeds sometimes carry just genetically specific issues, whether it's skin issues or health issues or whatever. And so when the groomer is educated, the groomer can actually educate their client. And so we're seeing a huge change. That's a big change from when we first started. The groomer used to be in the back room. Nobody don't talk to them. You talk to the nice receptionist up front. And, and
it almost feels like we're coming out of the dark ages.
Yes.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad in a lot of places. And the nice shops were kind of few and far between.
Yes.
It was a difficult road, for everybody.
So I think that's
Uh-oh. We're frozen a little bit.
Oh, there we go. We're back. We back?
Your audio. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay. So I just think that
strike the pose.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think there we go. We have just descended into madness now.
Yeah, whatever.
No, I just feel like it has just grown exponentially. And for a while there, it just seemed like there was so many people that wanted to keep it at the status quo. They were like, no, we're not doing that. We're not talking about skin. We're not telling, you're the groomer, you stay in the back room. We'll put the face out there, and that will be the person that talks to the owners. But the groomers are all in the back, like we're like Quasimodo back there. We can't come up.
It was a lot like that. And I remember. This is something I remember. I was grooming had 2 years under my belt, and I remember that show Blossom
Yeah.
You know
Oh
what
my
I
God. I
mean?
just talked about this to one of my students the other
So
day.
this is something that affected me deeply. I mean, I still talk about it. That's how
Yeah.
deeply it affects me. I've been grooming, what, 35 years or whatever. But I was like a second year groomer or whatever. And I was watching Blossom of an evening. And she was trying to go study for her SATs. And she was worried that she wouldn't get a good score on her SAT, so she couldn't get in a good college and blah, blah, blah. And one of her lines was, she was talking to her friend, six, right?
Right.
They were in her bedroom and she flopped down on the bed. She's like, if I don't get good grades or good scores on my SAT, I'm going to end up being a dog groomer. And I was like, what the?
Yeah.
I said, that is people pay mortgages and cars and live their lives and raise children on this.
Yeah.
You know, how could you say that? And I almost wrote a strongly worded letter to the network, but I never did. But that always has stuck with me. And that's what kind of we were dealing with back in the
Oh
day.
yeah.
You know, they just thought, oh, you know, whatever. Even janitors were better than groomers. You know, they got better as janitors.
I was told that's not a real job. I
All
did
the time.
as a side thing, a side hustle, a side gig. And you know, it's like I was like, I like this. I like to work with the dogs more and the cats more than I like to work with the humans.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, oh, but that's not a real job. But that's not a real job. You know, you have to do something else. That's not for real.
I've raised 2 children. I've bought many houses,
right?
Many brand new cars, all built on a foundation of dog hair. And this career, it's a career and a profession, has treated me very well. I fought hard in it, but it's been very lucrative. It's taken me farther than I ever thought I could go. I've met the most wonderful people who have a shared love of what I do. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I think grooming we are literally a rare breed.
Yeah.
It takes a special person to do this day in and day out, destroy their body and love dogs and cats and bats and rats as hard as we do. We love them lots, and it shows. It's showing. And I think that the relationship between animals and humans, we realize that not only can we fix these dogs and make them feel pretty, but they have the ability to heal us. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that people who aren't savvy about groomers don't understand. They're like, oh, it's just a dog, or it's just a cat, or, you know, what, do you just wash dog butt? They don't realize that connection probably is just as important to me and my health as it is to the health that I'm giving the dog, right, when I'm treating their skin. It's a special connection. And that's why I love groomers. Even if they don't like me, I love all of them. I love all of them just because of that, just because of their willingness and their commitment to love these dogs. They're special, innocent, wonderful beings, and they need us and we need them.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. It has honestly become, you know, it has never been just a grind for me or just a job for me ever. And I find that with a lot of the groomers that I meet, that it is like, if you ask them, what would you do if you weren't grooming? They would pretty much tell you, be unhappy, because this is where
I couldn't even tell you what I would do. There isn't an alternative.
Right.
Teaching grooming. That's it. Yeah. That's all I got.
It just is. It just is an integral part of who you are as a being, I think. And so a lot of them feel that way. Like they just feel like that this is where they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So, and it's always an uphill battle, especially when you're coming in and you're trying to make changes. Mm-hmm. When you're coming in and you're a new groomer, or you're a seasoned groomer, you know, right, or a senior groomer, and you're coming in to every day in, you know, working in this industry, and you're seeing these big changes going on. And how do you self-adjust? You know, how do you fit yourself in there? Because you really, truly do have to reinvent yourself over time, up your skills, change the way you're doing things. Because as we discover more gentle ways of doing this job, we need to shift our thoughts on how we're, interacting and what we're doing. And I mean, it would be 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it would be insane to have a discussion with your customer about skin.
Right.
I mean, they would look at you and go, "You're not my vet." Yeah.
Or just use Dawn.
Yeah.
Greasy. Just use Dawn.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't that
old...
far back in history that doctors were all barbers.
Yeah, it's true. Yes.
So think about that. Somebody who cuts hair and does shaves became surgeons.
Yep.
Veterinarians were just good husbandry, were farmers with good husbandry.
Right.
And they helped each other out when they had a lame cow or this, that, and the other. So, I mean, we all come from humble beginnings, and we all have grown in our prospective professions. And I think that the grooming industry has grown into itself, and I think we've become. There was a time in my career that I thought, well, eventually we're going to be taken seriously. But really, I think that time is now.
Oh, yeah.
I think we have arrived at a certain level that we absolutely are real. We are real professionals. Real groomers are real careers, and we're real. I think that collectively we've made us real through our hard work. The hard work of all the shoulders we stand on, the Terry DeMarinos, the Kathy Roses, the Pam Lauritsons, so many others that would take me a whole month if I read the whole list. I am so grateful and so thankful for the hard work they put in that allowed me to live my life in such a manner, that allowed me to choose a profession that has made me so happy and has healed me beyond measure. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I second that sentiment. It's just exploded. Mobile grooming, house call grooming, veterinary grooming. I mean, look at all these different facets of one career choice, that one industry. Mm-hmm. So home grooming, I mean, there's just so many different levels and ways that you can go to suit your needs and to meet the needs of the customers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very satisfying. It's very, very satisfying.
So I think we've, to quote the old Virginia Slims ads,
we've come a long way, baby.
Yeah, we've come a long way, baby. And in all honesty, this was and still is there are more males coming into our industry, but this has been a female-centric industry for a very long time.
Yes, it has.
And so these women raised families and, did all the things while doing this, this back-breaking job. This is not an easy job. My mom was a hairdresser for more than 40 years. And she used to say to me all the time, I would never want to be a groomer. She's like, it is so hard. Mm-hmm. You have to really love doing this, because she tried. And she was all, I'd rather deal with a human being than have to, really be so introspective as to understand this creature on the table who really can't communicate clearly with me, clearly that I can understand. And so it is a very unique human being that can actually do this job. Mm-hmm. And kudos to those women out there that did it for those of us that stepped in and said, oh, and by the way, now I think I'm going to do this way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I found a different way of doing this. Spread the word. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's been an amazing change. Mm-hmm. And then just the people in general that have stepped up as educators.
I tell you what, Melissa, it's been a wild ride, and we still have a little bit left in us. We're still going strong. I think we're moving into our educator phase. That we're going to be I'm trying to be shoulders that someone else can stand on in the future.
Absolutely.
I'm doing my very best to do that. I'll give you what I got, and then I want you to take it further.
Yeah.
We take it further every generation.
That's the goal.
That is the goal. So,
Oh yeah.
may you have a fabulous week. We'll see you next Thursday, I believe. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
Yes, next Thursday.
It'll be recorded, but we love you all. If you have any questions, please let us know. If you want us to speak on a certain topic, let us know. And we will get that in for you, and we'll make it happen. And may your next sip be just as delicious as your last. Thank you so much for joining us.